Mr. Costa.
I'm
Okay. So I'll call you back again.
yes. So now that the recording is on, I think. So warm good evening to everybody here. So another episode of our Green IVF a webinar today, and maybe the second last before we, straight go into fertilization. And I would like to invite Dr. Shweta Mittal ma'am, who is Secretary General of IFS, to give the opening talk and get us started and get the blessings of hers and all the seniors here. Dr. Pankaj Talwar sir and Dr. Sonia Malik ma'am send us their blessings and are not going to be able to join us. So ma'am, Shweta Mittal ma'am, kindly.
Yeah. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So we are really looking forward for today's meeting. In fact, I had a word with Dr. Minu in the evening, and uh, it's a new thing for all of us. And I would start a little bit of, because we have a very special guest speaker today with us, Mr. Kostab, and I would like everyone to know that how this whole program started more than a year back. The inception of this whole concept came into the mind of our president, Dr. Pankaj Talwar, and I so vividly remember. And we had conceptualized and thought of the name for sustainability in IVF for this year's congress, as well as for the whole year working at it. Dr. Mino and Dr. Bindu have been working very hard to get the whole program executed, and how small subparts were made, and how they were leaders of the subparts, and they were also the group members who have been working. And every month a newsletter is published which covers different aspects. So we have the clinicians, we have the embryologists, we have the new thought processes, the new innovations, and what is the futuristic plan. Then the next step was volunteering. So they were very kind enough, 5 centers, to volunteer to participate in Green IVF, because we realize it's not easy to be a part of a Green IVF or sustainable IVF, because there are so many practices which really have to be changed. But then we realize that yes, there could be easier steps, and small baby steps can be taken to achieve and to become more sustainable, also to bring more awareness in all of us. So it's like a great learning curve for all of us. Dr. Mino is really at and about it, in chasing all the teams, in getting the prints, and at the end of it, Dr. Bindu has really, I'm looking forward to Mr. Kaustubh Chatterjee's inputs, that how we can make our IVF centers more sustainable. And I'm sure slowly we can get these things executed on a routine basis. So this I we open this whole program for today, and I will request Dr. Minu to introduce our guest speaker for today.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your kind words. And of course, it is all because of your blessings and Dr. Pankaj Talwar sir's blessings that we take the program forward every time. And of course, a lot of solid contribution from all the team leaders, the seniors in the group, and now the attempt today to have the juniors also come onto the bandwagon. But today's guest speaker for us is somebody who has worked extensively in environmental, changes, and he's an environmentalist. And he has been brought in through the efforts of our dear Dr. Bindu ma'am. And Mr. Kaustubh Chatterjee, he is based out of Nagpur. And I would like to welcome you for the program. He has done extensive work. He's Master's in Environment Science from RTMNU, postgraduate diploma in Marketing and Sales Management, Business Management, Environmental Law and Policy, and ISO 14,000 and Environmental Management, Human Resource Development. So he is basically working as a vice president at the Concord Enviro Systems Limited, a public limited company. He has experience in wastewater engineering and has designed, directed, commissioned a lot of water treatment plants in India and abroad. He's a founder of the Green Vigil Foundation, which is an NGO which works in the field of sustainability. And he's done a lot of campaigns and very, very active in Nagpur, especially. And he's got so many awards, and he's a brand ambassador of Nagpur for Swachh Bharat Mission. So such an important thing, sir. Thank you for your time here, and we are looking forward to you giving us your expert comments with probably with respect to your field of specialty, but something which we can learn from and incorporate in our sustainability program as we are leading it in the IVF sector as a pilot project from IFS. So, sir, the stage is yours. We would like you to start with your presentation, please.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. The slide is visible.
Yes, it is visible, sir. Please.
Thank you so much. At the outset, I'd like to thank you all for inviting me in this learned forum. सभी यहाँ डॉक्टर है और डॉक्टर्स के
डॉक्टर्स एंड एम्ब्रियोलॉजिस्ट्स
या तो यहाँ पे मैक्सिमम डॉक्टर्स है और उनके क्या है, डॉक्टर्स तो भगवान के रूप है और उनके सामने कुछ बोला नहीं जाता है, बस दुआएं की जाती हैं तो मैं बस एक एनवायरमेंटलिस्ट होने के नाते आई विल ट्राई टू explain you and try to speak on what I have learned, I have gathered from my experience. So let's proceed. First, the most important thing, I would like to show you one poster of one movie, and that's the movie was 2-0. And as you all know, that this is a movie in which this was, of course, it shows that the world is not only for humans, because Akshay Kumar, who played the main role, he was a bird activist, and as per him, the mobile towers, there were some rays coming out of mobile towers due to which the birds were getting killed. So he tried his level best, so it didn't happen. Then he commits suicide, and then he comes back as Pakshi Rajan, and he takes the mobile from a human, and just losing the mobile, life becomes really chaotic. So it's only the mobile. Now, you knows better that एक कोविड ने हमें घर के अंदर बंद कर दिया था, और हमारी जो बादशाहत है, जो हम समझते हैं कि हम कुछ भी कर सकते हैं, हम ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश के द्वारा रचित इस पृथ्वी को, इस ब्रह्मांड को बदल सकते हैं, हमारी क्या औकात है, वो एक कोविड ने दिखा दिया। हम घर के अंदर बंद हो गए बिकॉज द वर्ल्ड इज नॉट ओनली फॉर ह्यूमंस। ये जो एनवायरमेंट है, ये जो ब्रह्मांड है, we must realize that we are just a part of the ecosystem. We are just a small part of the ecosystem. Everyone in this world have the right to live here, to have a better environment, to have a clear air to breathe. So with this, we start. First, if we talk of IVF, it's a hope. For me, IVF is hope. IVF gives hope to families. At the same time, like every medical field, it has an environmental footprint. In fact, everything has an environmental footprint. Whatever you do, it has an environmental footprint. And as an environmentalist, I am here to share some practical, non-disruptive tips that can help reduce the impact without affecting the patient's care. So, environment and IVF. I would like to start that this IVF, why this is so important in today's world. There may be 100 reasons, of course, but environment, sustainability also is a contributor. Air pollution, especially exposure to fine particulate matter 2.5. There are two types of particulate matter we are talking about. One is PM10 and one is PM 2.5 based on the micron size of the pollutant. And this gets emitted from thermal power plant, from vehicle exhaust, from construction activities. And this PM 2.5 is associated with lower clinical pregnancy rates in IVF and embryo quality, increased inflammation, and higher early pregnancy loss rates. And pollutants like nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and heavy metals negatively affect both male and female fertility, reducing egg and sperm's quality and impairing implantation success. Means we are talking of IVF and tips to have a sustainable IVF, but Why IVF? And somehow these environmental factors, directly or indirectly, have caused some irregularities which resulted in moving towards IVF, creating life while protecting the earth for the children who will inherit it. Of course, IVF is a hope because it gives life, it brings life to the earth. But then it's our responsibility to keep the life alive. We must give a clean air, we must give the child a clean air to breathe, a good environment to live. And when I was preparing for this discussion, I found that it's getting aligned to the global goals. IVF practice directly supports United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. There are 17 SDGs, but if we go through the SDGs in detail, we'll find that SDG, Sustainable Development Goal 3, is good health and well-being, which gets correlated with today's discussion on IVF sustainable practices. SDG 5, gender equality, of course. SDG 9, industry innovation. SDG 12 and 13, responsible consumption and climate action. So what we are discussing today, environment and IVF linked together, what best can be done to save the climate action, to save the climate change, to save the global warming, and to save the earth from restricting the earth from getting more warmer. I would like to highlight that in last, say, 110 years, the average temperature of the Earth's surface has gone up by 1.1 degrees Celsius, and the efforts are being made across the globe to control it to 1.5. The Paris Agreement has been signed. India has also ratified the Paris Agreement, and all major players have ratified the Paris Agreements. The only United States of America has gone out of it, but all the efforts are being made to restrict the global temperature rise below 2 degrees. And I'm happy to share that India is doing good, and in the climate action plan, India is ranking number 7. Practically number 7, but first 3 places are vacant, so we are at number 10. And among the big players whose commitment really matters, fortunately or unfortunately, India is the only country who features in that first 20 list. All the major players, they are not in the first 20 because they may not be taking that much of action which can control the global temperature rise to 2 degrees. So, healthcare paradox meant to protect life but contributes to climate change. Everything contributes to climate change. In fact, I'm talking to you, the lights are on, the fan is on, the laptop is on. Directly or indirectly, we are emitting greenhouse gases, we are contributing to the global warming. To live, we need to do this. We have to do this. There is no other option. But we can restrict it. We can minimize it. We can find a golden mean. That's very important. So in IVF specific, high energy demand, labs, incubators, freezers, the average IVF cycle, one cycle, uses as much as energy as running a household for 3 to 4 days. Imagine if every clinic makes small tweaks, the cumulative benefit will be huge while still delivering the miracles. I believe IVF is miracle. Absolutely. It's a hope. I started with a hope. It does miracles. जैसा मैंने कहा कि खुदा के बाद तो डॉक्टर ही है, तो जैसे हमने तो भगवान या खुदा को मिरेकल करते या होते देखा नहीं है, पर हमने डॉक्टर्स के द्वारा मिरेकल करते हुए सुना है, पढ़ा है, देखा है. सो इसका एनवायरमेंटल इम्पैक्ट को हम थोड़े से कम कर सकते हैं. सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक्स, पिपेट्स, डिशेस, ट्यूब्स. IVF generates substantial waste per cycle, around 1.7 kg, mostly non-recyclable plastics. Medical waste, though regulated, but often incinerated. And medical waste, you don't have any other option at the moment. That yeah, it has to be incinerated. And when we incinerate it, if the incineration is not a closed type, and then a lot of gases gets emitted, high water consumption due to continuous operation of equipment, and usage of gases like liquid nitrogen, fossil fuel dependent transportation adds to the carbon footprint. The embryo's chance for survival depends on controlled condition, absolutely. Similarly, our planet's survival depends on how responsibly we create those conditions. And here we have to talk about that only, that you are experts. You can definitely ensure the survival of the embryo. But our planet's survival depends on how responsibly we discuss, we implement, we execute the thought process. There are some simple actions which have a big impact. Energy and infrastructure. Optimize the energy of regular maintenance, zoning, smart sensors. Switch to energy efficient incubator, freezers. We all know that every electrical appliances now are having a sign at the front door that the stars, and they show it that if the 5-star is most energy efficient, 4-star, 3 stars. Though the 5 stars are costly, but it will help not only economically, the electricity bills will be less, but we are contributing ourselves to the society. Consider renewable energy sourcing if possible, solar backup for critical systems, really. That is most important. And I'm very happy to share that till 2014, our contribution to the solar sector and wind sector was not much. In solar, we were only 2.43 gigawatt. But since last 11 years, we have expanded the solar installations. And today, we are at number 4 and 5 in solar installations and in wind power. And that gives a big pat in the back for India, that what they are promised in Paris Agreement. So what has India promised in Paris Agreement? When India was ratifying the Paris Agreement, it was 2016. And standing on 2016, I believe, right? 2016, India promised that by 2030, we will reduce our carbon emission by 30 to 33% as compared to what we used to do in 2005. Means you are standing on 2016 and saying that India is a developing country. Still, by 2030, we will reduce our carbon emission what we used to do in 2005. Now the question is how we are going to achieve this. The answer is the second commitment of India in Paris Agreement. We will convert our 40% of the energy sources into renewable energy, mostly wind energy and solar energy. That was the commitment made by India. And we are on the path. And now we are 4th and 5th, respectively, in solar power utilization, installation, and wind power installation. Back to this, use LED lighting in labs and clinics. Of course, a freezer running for 24/7 for embryos is non-negotiable. But of course, if the staff room light is left on overnight, that's negotiable. Small steps, believe me, really matters. Material and waste generated. Segregate waste properly, reduce unnecessary incinerations, move towards biodegradable disposals where safe and approved. Because if you are using a single-use plastic, a single-use equipment, I'm no one to comment on this because it's your field. But of course, I have personally experienced that there are options available in few of the things. Even we use the toothbrush with the plastic brush with plastic bristles, but there are this made of recycled wood, and even the bristles are made of that bamboo, that it comes made out of bamboo sticks and all. And so there are options available. And partner with vendors for take back schemes for packaging. Okay, reuse protective. Of course, this may sound a little stupid, but I feel maybe it is possible that reuse protective gowns covers reusable instead of full single use, where infection control allows. Asterisks, where infection control allows. Priority is, of course, being you are getting a new life to this world. So priority is that. But doing that, if we can do something, small things, switch off the lights, or go for some energy conservation, stop the leaking taps, of go for water conservation, minor things, minor things. And but the AC is not required. We can avoid the AC. So these are the minor things. The patient's pipette tip must be sterile and single use. Of course, yes. But the cardboard box, it come in, doesn't have to be end up in a biomedical waste. There are very small things. I'll give you one example. Our NGO, we do one campaign, Purnima Divas campaign. It was started by then Mayor of Nagpur City, Honorable Anil Sole. In this campaign, the Nagpur Municipal Corporation puts off light of a particular square on every Purnima day, because on Purnima day we have moonlight, more power of moonlight. And we request people, we request the residents, we request the shopkeepers to turn off the unessential lights, non-essential lights, for just 1 hour. And this campaign from 2014 have received a huge applaud. And by today, we have saved around, by Nagpur Municipal Corporation records, as per that, we have saved around 250,000 units. And that is equivalent to restricting 250,000 kgs of carbon emission, because 1 kg of carbon get emitted by producing 1 unit of electricity. Very small steps, but it has big impacts. There are some other actions like water conservation, implement water saving devices, and recycle water whatever possible. Recycling programs, set up recycling for lab plastics and papers, encouraging staff participation. Digital shift, paperless patient record, e-consent forms. Sustainable sourcing, choose environment-friendly products, and supplier committed to green policies. These are the miscellaneous things what I believe it can be done. Staff education, foster a culture of sustainability with training on non-conscious practices, optimize the consumer ordering, reduce overstock expiry. Once it gets overstock, it goes as a medical waste. Transport optimization, reduce transport emission via telemedicine, scheduling batches, and locals. These are very normal things, very common things. But believe me, it has a big impact. And of course, awareness with patients. Whenever patient comes to you, and जैसा मैं बार बार बोल रहा हूं कि भगवान के बाद आप ही हैं, तो जब जो इंसान जिंदगी दे रहा है, अगर वो कुछ बोलेंगे तो ऑफ कोर्स पेशेंट तो उसको सुनेंगे ही सुनेंगे. सो आपके मुंह से निकली हुई हर शब्द उनके लिए ब्रह्म वाक्य होगा. सो अगर आप सस्टेनेबिलिटी की बात करें, आप एनवायरमेंट प्रोटेक्शन की बात करें, तो दैट विल हैव ए ह्यूज इम्पैक्ट. And so I was allotted 15 minutes. I think 15 minutes are over now. So at the end, I would only like to say that बदलाव बहुत धीमी आहट से आता है. बदलाव बहुत धीमी आहट से आता है. महसूस करो, एहसास होगा, क्योंकि समय चक्र था रेत में धसा, चल पड़ा वो भी एक नई दिशा. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Costa. Wonderful lecture. And I think, Shweta ma'am, these are the principles that we have been endorsing through our program, which we have been running for the past 9 months. We principally have been working on these, and it's just, you are reinforcing those very points and from the perspective of an environmentalist. Shweta ma'am, would you like to say
Yeah.
something about it?
So, thank you so much. First of all, I really appreciated your Hindi. It
Yes,
Thank
was
you, ma'am.
wonderful.
wonderful,
Really.
wonderful Hindi. Yes, the insights what you gave. is so true. And everything, I mean, of course, there are lots of hopes in our field with very small, tiny, I would say particles which are living or full living organisms. And small things which you said about cardboard or about lights or leaking taps and very small things, yes, we all need to have, unless that inner conscience comes in us, we will not be acting on it. And I think it should start from home, it should start from every place wherever we are, and then only we can make it a practice. So it was really wonderful to hear you and very enlightening for us.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Bindu, for inviting him. I think it was
Dr.
your idea,
Bindu,
if I'm not wrong.
yes, Dr. Bindu is also very, very passionate about all this, and
Yeah, very
she
passionate.
works very,
Thank you so much. It was,
enthusiastically with us, guiding me and guiding the entire
we have the
program.
good fortune of having such NGOs here in Nagpur. We have National Environmental Engineering
Nagpur, the
Research
cleanest city
Institute.
of the country.
Yes, so we have NEERI, which works so much towards sustainable development also, and NGOs. We have Mr. Kaustav's Green Vigil Foundation. Apart from that, we have Reva Enviro. There is another Mr. Kaustav, which is
Yeah.
that another Enviro.
Lars Enviro.
Lars Enviro. So there are several such organizations which are working into this area for a long time, even before we became aware that such a thing might be necessary. So
The
20,
model
25
city,
years.
ma'am. I think
Yes.
model city for the rest of the country to emulate.
Yes. Thank you.
So with everybody's permission, I again thank Mr. Costa. Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am.
Really wholeheartedly thank you for your time and your energy into the program today. And with the permission of Dr. Shweta ma'am and all my seniors, ma'am, shall we proceed on to the
Yes.
panel discussion? And Mr. Costa, if you can spare time, kindly stay on with us.
Yeah, sure. I'll stay for some time. Yeah.
Sure. So I proceed on to carrying out the panel discussion now, and I would like to share my own slide here. Can you see my slide, please?
Yes.
Can see.
Okay, ma'am. And also I'd like to call upon my co-moderator, Dr. Lavi. Dr. Lavi, please come onto the screen and say hello. Dr. Lavi, are you there?
Yeah, she was there. She had joined in.
Yeah, she had joined. If you can just give me 2 minutes, I'll give her a call and ask her to be around before I get started. Dr. Lavi, please come on. We are starting the panel.
On your camera, it's not, it's showing not allowed.
Karan, can you please help there? Dr. Lavi, she will be a co-moderator with me. Karan? You all do know that we started this program almost about 9 months back. So it has had its gestation period. Launched it on the 7th. And today we are here in the month of October. The purpose of having such a huge panel, participation was that we, Dr. Shweta Talwar sir, Dr. Bindu Chumote ma'am, Dr. Ritu, Dr. Shalini, Dr. Sarabpreet, and so many other seniors, Dr. Charulata. And there are so many of them who have an idea, who have been active. But then there are so many of you. We have a huge team, 9 teams, about 65 members, but many of you were kind of just probably observing or were rather dormant. So we, came up with the idea that let's get all these people, active, let them, because you are going to be our spokespeople, it is our program, so we must know what we are trying to do. And though you've been contributing, many of you have been active, but there are some who have not really, given it a lot of attention. So I thought that let's, and Dr. Bindu ma'am and Dr. Lavi ma'am, they give me this idea that let's bring on people, and then we brought in about 2 per team. And hence we have this huge, panel that we created today. So the members that we have for the panel today, from each team, we have chosen 2. So team 1 is Dr. Rudri Agarwal, Dr. Vidhu Modgil. Team 2 is Dr. Gunjan Bhatnagar, Dr. Nisha Bhatnagar, ma'am. Dr. Soumya Prasad, Dr. Sohani from team 3. Team 4, Dr. Kalpana, ma'am. Team 5, Dr. Rajvi Mehta and Dr. Shilpi Sharma. Team 6, Sapna Tyagi and Dr. Anand Lakshmi. Team 7, Dr. Priyanka Patil, Dr. Garima Sharma. Team 8, Dr. Purnima Durga, Dr. Geetika Sharma. Team 9, Dr. Rahul Sen and Dr. Charulata. A warm welcome to all of you, and looking forward to a constructive and interactive session with all of you. So we all know, from what Mr. Kostev shared with us and what has been our perspective of the entire program, that we talk of sustainability in IVF because it is the need of the hour. Everything is contributing to increased environmental pollution, carbon footprint. So is our industry. Now, if that is the case, there has to be certain small steps taken so that we kind of reduce this. Why? Because we have to give a better future to our children. So that is the main theme. Now, let me start by asking Dr. Rudri, who is actually an IVF specialist from Nova IVF in Indore, and also Dr. Vidhu Modgil, who is a very senior person, and she's director and senior consultant at Suman Hospital, Ludhiana. So, Dr. Vidhu, ma'am, do give your input on what is sustainability. What do you understand by the terminology carbon emission, carbon footprint? And then maybe Rudri, you could say that tell us what is global warming.
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Dr. Vidhu, ma'am, are you there? I think she is not. So, Rudri.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I could
Hello?
answer that question.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
please carry on. Do.
I can tell you about sustainability. Hello, everyone. Am I audible?
Dr. Vidhu, ma'am, are you there?
Yeah.
Please carry on, ma'am, and please come onto the camera. We'd like to see you.
हाँ मैं अभी OT ड्रेस में हूँ, मैं ऐसी बात करती हूँ
जी, कोई दिक्कत नहीं मैम, जैसे आपको ठीक लगे आप बोलिए.
So basically sustainability is a practice of meeting and presenting new things where we use without compromising the ability of our generations for their livelihood, right? So we have to use and reuse our things properly. We should decrease the waste, and we should, whatever we are, like whatever we Dr. Kostev also said, we should implement water saving, recycling things, and we should segregate our waste, biodegradable products. So that is what sustainability all means all about, to decrease our waste.
So, ma'am, because a very simple statement that it is a development or any form of carrying out our human activities such that the present does not deprive the future of their needs. So a very simple definition there. And ma'am, what can you explain by carbon emission or carbon footprint?
Basically, what I could read or what I could think, carbon emission is we can decrease whatever sir also said, carbon footprints have to be decreased. The less energy, whatever we are throwing, or the energy we can generate to decrease the pollution in our environment.
Sure. Dr. Rudri, would you like to add to that, please? Dr. Rudri?
I don't think so she's there.
She was here. Dr. Rudri? I don't know, where we seem to have lost her. So basically, as Mr. Kostev mentioned, in the 2015 UN resolution, the Sustainable Development Goals were declared. And so in keeping with that, our country has been working. Now, all human activities, they generate a carbon footprint, as has already been explained. So little activity you do at home to the bigger actions that are taken for our day-to-day lives, our industries, the transportation, agriculture, electricity, heat generation, everything has a carbon footprint. And as this particular slide shows you, it is variable. What is greenhouse effect now? Why are we talking of all the carbon emission and how does it impact us?
Because we are destroying our ozone layer.
True.
Uh,
And all the activity that we carry out is basically emitting these greenhouse gases in some forms, the major one being carbon dioxide. And in fact, I would like you all to know that in the past 1,000 years, the carbon dioxide level in the environment has, doubled. And as Mr. Costa was saying, we are going to go, if we do not stop by the end of century, we'll probably be 4 degrees warmer. And as the UN is wanting us that we take steps such that we kind of try and limit this to below 2 degrees. Now, what happens is all this human activity generates a lot of these gases. They go and get trapped in our atmosphere, and then the heat is trapped and makes our earth warmer. And the effect of global warming. So why are we scared of all these gases? Because they're causing what they're causing. We've been seeing so many disasters this past year.
yeah.
We
There's so
don't
much
have a
of
planet.
floods,
So
change
many
in
floods,
environment,
so many wildfires,
all part
so
of
many, so many things are happening, and that is what it is. So this was for the beginning to start with. Now I would want Dr. Lavi to probably ask Dr. Nisha the next question. Dr. Lavi. Karan, you have not enabled her.
Ma'am, now is closed.
Dr. Lavi, are you there?
Yeah, Dr. Meenu, just now,
Yeah. Please,
I
your
audible?
next question to Dr. Nisha.
Yeah, am I audible now?
You're audible. Please carry on.
Okay. So just now I have been added as a co-host. So I'll introduce my next panelist, Dr. Nisha Bhatnagar. Ma'am is the medical director, Avya Fertility and Infinity IVF.
Ma'am, can you
So-
please come onto the screen? We would like to see the.
Yeah, I am. My screen is on. My video is on.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
I cannot spot you.
Right.
Right, ma'am.
So, ma'am, my question to you is, do you think the healthcare sector contributes to greenhouse gases emissions? And more specifically, we are talking about the IVF industry.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Lavi and Dr. Meenu, for including me in this panel. And I think the question is very, very relevant. Healthcare industry is, in fact, a major contributor to greenhouse gases. So global warming, of course. See, I see on daily basis there is so much of waste generated by the hospitals. We have a habit of using things without even realizing. So many times the papers are used like n number of times for one patient. You make a discharge summary, you tear it up, you write again, you do. So a lot of paper wastage is there. Then we have all kind of consents form. 1,000 papers are used for one file. There are the PP kits and all which is used. I saw in a big hospital, I won't name the hospital, but such a big hospital in Delhi, they are using everything disposable in the OT. So much of waste generated every time. Then there is infrastructure, cost, running gases, all that temperature maintenance. Then there is water, different kind of waste generated. So yes, that is very true that healthcare is a major contributor to global warming. Also, you need to realize that this, we have been living on this planet since maybe millions of years, but still this infertility problem, if we talk about IVF specifically, you see there is increasing incidence of infertility.
Actually, yes.
And I believe that it's a vicious cycle we have fallen into. So all these greenhouse gases, all these ozone layer damage, all these
Pollutants,
microwaves, phones,
microplastics.
and everything, microplastics, the more and more industrialized we are becoming, the more and more we are harming ourselves only. So the major factor of infertility, if I talk only about 25 years back when I started my practice, the major contributors were infectious disease, tuberculosis, TB, or maybe major reason was those kind of thing, azoospermia sometime. But if you talk about now, the major reason of infertility is poor egg quality and poor sperm quality. So all this, we have, like, we are all, not only, don't talk about the
And then when
planet,
the
don't,
patients ask us what is the cause, we are actually supposed to be saying idiopathic because we cannot. You do all the
no,
evaluation.
no, no,
then
we
you
don't
have the
say,
cause.
we don't say
Environmental.
idiopathic. We say
Environmental.
we are the cause.
Yes,
We are causing
environmental.
it. We are causing it. Our lifestyle, our environment. So we only are increasing the incidence of infertility. We only are causing damage to ourselves by falling into this vicious cycle. So leave the planet, like, also, Dr. Kostov talked about COVID. So if you see during COVID, there was a major change in the pollution level. Everything was settled. The trees were blooming, the weather was settled. There was so just because we stopped moving. So even Mother Nature realizes that we are the cause of damage, and that's why also I believe infertility incidence is increasing. If we don't stop, so yes, the answer is yes, and yes, IVF industry is also a major contributor, and we need to correct it. Unless if we don't do it, we'll be finding ourselves in a big soup.
So the people who are supposed to cure infertility are contributing to infertility.
Yes.
So we
And
must
to
do something
add,
about it.
if I may butt in a bit, conversely, during COVID, even patients who had been undergoing IVF
They
conceived
conceived.
spontaneously.
They conceived because they were not eating outside.
Yes.
They were
Not
sleeping
under
on time,
stress.
and they were working in the home. All the major
Stress.
work was done by
Yes.
them, not by the maid servant. So we need to correct our lifestyle.
Yeah, so very rightly said by Dr. Nisha Bhatnagar ma'am, and we are contributing a major amount as an IVF industry. So the health sector contributor to the carbon footprint is approximately 4.4% of the global net emissions, of which IVF contributes about 0.5%, which is a major chunk actually. And rightly, we are working on the right track. And as a clinician, as a industry, IVF health sector, we have the responsibility that without compromising our quality, we need to reduce this burden.
Actually.
So now I would like to invite my next panelist, Dr. Soumya Prasad. She is the Senior Fertility Consultant at Matritva Advanced IVF and Maternity Center, Gurugram. And Dr. Suhani Chandra, she is the consultant, Rajendra Nagar Hospital and Sunita IVF Center, Lucknow. I welcome you both on this platform. And I would like to ask my question, next question to both of you. So can you enumerate how our clinical work in an IVF clinic is responsible for increased CO2 emissions?
So I would just like to talk about the clinic setup, the office,
Yeah.
not the lab here, please.
I got it. Yes. So, as thank you, Lavi ma'am and Dr. Meenu for inviting me for this panel discussion. It's very interesting listening to environmentalists also. So, as a clinician, it starts from the patient coming repeatedly, whether it's for consultation, for follicular monitoring, or any procedures, and even like a lot of IVF centers prefer that the patient come to the center and get the injection so that the gonadotropin injection or the trigger is not missed. So this repeated travel also adds to the CO2 emission. Then we have the follicular monitoring, which we do, whether it's through laboratory procedures or through the ultrasound, which is continuously running. So even that's causing a load. The air condition is working because ultrasound needs the air condition to be working all the time. So that's cool. The OPD, receptionist room, everywhere the air condition is working continuously. Then we have the operation theaters where we have those ventilating system, the anesthetic machine, the CO2, which is we are putting during the laparoscopic procedure. So in a way, at every step from the procedure, from the first time the patient enters our clinic to the time embryo transfer is done, when we are using those single-use catheters, single-use, whether we are doing for the embryo transfer, we are using those OPU needles, even those are single-use. So from the entering till the embryo transfer, till the patient is conceiving, and later on, we are at every step contributing as clinicians also.
True. Dr. Suhani, are you there? Would you like to contribute something, please?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here. Ma'am, I think what ma'am said is absolutely correct. What Soumya ma'am said is absolutely correct. But also at a more very basic level, as a clinic in general, if we look at just three components that are the basics of environmental sustainability: energy, water, and paper. These three things, if we look at them one at a time, there is such overconsumption of all three. For example, in terms of energy, not just reducing the amount of energy we use, but switching to a more sustainable form of energy, because especially the bigger clinics, bigger hospitals, they can switch to solar power now, which will help reduce carbon emissions by a huge extent. Then again, in terms of saving water, using recycled water for some irrigation systems, some washing systems, using reusable garments, and in terms of paper, digitalizing as many records and prescriptions as possible. I think these steps will drastically help.
You are right, but let's just focus on what is contributing. Solutions we are coming to later. So let's,
Sure, ma'am.
as you said, paper, yes, electricity running, yes, non-stop, lights here, lights there, AC running. And then, of course, wherever we are seeing plastic being used, minimize the plastic.
The scrubs we use, the single-use
water
scrubs which
bottles
we are
that are
using.
plastic.
Yeah. The single-use scrubs we are using, the glasses which are kept for the patients, even those are plastic glasses at many centers. So all that does
So
contribute.
little
From
things as
entry,
Mr. Costa
entry
said,
to the
little
exit
things.
point,
Yes.
multiple times we are generating CO2, CGHS
Right.
emissions, basically, from entry
Right.
to the exit.
Anything else that comes to your mind? Any of the Bindu ma'am, Dr. Nisha, Dr. Shweta ma'am, if you're there. So basically, we talk of reducing. I mean, we're doing a lot of paper usage, repeated papers being filled, repeated. We're asking our patients to print out those reports. No need for that also, and minimize your plastic.
But then Dr. Dr. Meenu, we have those PNDT, like numerous consent
Yeah.
forms, the F
So
form,
that,
the
of
G
course,
form,
see,
and
as
then
long as you
which
stay
we
in a
are,
country and the law
yes,
is not supporting you in certain things, we would request
yeah,
the government agencies to help us out there for the
right.
larger, picture of
Because
the country.
all
But
this
that is
follicular monitoring, it takes so many papers, and they are just one-side prints.
that you cannot do anything about as of yet. Yes.
Yes.
So the next question goes to Dr. Ananta Lakshmi and Dr. Sapna Tyagi. I would like to invite my next two panelists. So Dr. Sapna is a lab manager, chief embryologist at Yatharth Super Speciality Hospital. And Dr. Ananta Lakshmi is a very accomplished embryologist. She has done a Reshre certified embryology course, American College of Embryology certified, and she works at Janani Fertility Center in Trichy. So are you both here? Like to welcome you both.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the introduction. We are here.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. So Dr. Ananta Lakshmi and Dr. Sapna, what is your take on how does the IVF lab, which is the heartbeat of any IVF center, how is it contributing to the greenhouse emissions?
As we discussed in the previous lecture, ma'am, it is told by all the speakers before itself. Only thing is, it is not one thing. It is all the things inside the IVF lab is going to contribute to the greenhouse gas emission. Starting from the incubator and production of CO2, which is required to run the incubator, and the culture media which we are using, we may think that it just as a media. But the transport of the media, which we are procuring from a long distance, that adds to the greenhouse emission. And the AHU, which is running constantly, and the requirement of power back every time that requires energy. Again, coming to the gas manufacturing, we are using pre-mixed dry gas incubators. So for that, we have to manufacture the gas. For the gas manufacturing, they are consuming more energy. The liquid nitrogen, again, it needs production needs so much of energy. So starting from everything inside the lab, I cannot say the one thing. Everything contributes to the greenhouse gas emission.
Absolutely. So Dr. Sapna, what is your input?
Good evening, ma'am. Thank you so much for having me. I think Dr. Ananta has highlighted all the points that what are we using, like HVAC and HEPA filters. We need to operate it 24/7, and it is consuming more and more energy, right? Second, we have incubators. We have cryo cans. Incubators, we cannot switch it off because we grow embryos in them. And like cryo cans, we need to refill it again and again, and then that transportation and production, it also like causes a lot of CO2 emissions directly or indirectly in some way. And I think for the to sustain the IVF, like we need to have.
We lost you, Dr. Sapna. Dr.
I
Sapna?
think yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I think sustainability in IVF is not just a choice, but it's a responsibility of everyone, like who are working in the IVF clinic, right? Yes, this is true. Like
Sapna, there seems to be some kind of a problem with the connectivity. So I guess again, the summary here being that each step in the IVF lab is again very energy intensive. The equipment, the consumables, the media, right from production to the usage and to the disposal. Everything has to be a very conscious effort of minimizing the usage, being very, very efficient about the use and disposing it correctly. So if you have anything else to add, I would.
hello, am I audible, ma'am?
Yeah, audible now, Sapna.
Yes, I was like, yeah, IVF lab is the heartbeat of any IVF clinic, but this is to Earth is the heartbeat of all our lives. So we have to preserve this. And if our practices today compromise the environment, then the children born through IVF inherit a world burdened by our negligence. That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much for your inputs, Dr. Ananthalakshmi and Dr. Sapna. Now we are here to create a solution and not be a part of the pollution. So sustainability in IVF is what we are driving now. And Dr. Kalpana Singh and Dr. Shilpa Sharma, ma'am, are you both here? Dr. Kalpana, ma'am? Dr. Shilpa?
Yes. Hi, Dr. Meenu. Dr. Shilpa here. I'm here.
Hi, ma'am. Good evening. So, Dr. Shilpa is here. Dr. Kalpana.
Yeah, I am also here.
Oh, wonderful, ma'am. Wonderful. Good to see you. So, Dr. Kalpana is here too. So, I would first like to introduce them. So, Dr. Kalpana, ma'am, is Head of Department Reproductive Medicine, Indira Gandhi Institute of Medical Sciences from Patna. And Dr. Shilpa, ma'am, is a Senior Consultant and a Medical Director at Vrinda Femicare Fertility, Dehradun. So you got somebody very accomplished from Dehradun and from Patna. So it is a pan-India group we have here, of course. And that was the purpose, that we get all of us get together and spread a word. So, ma'am, you have put in so many years into IVF practice. As clinicians, you have seen a lot of spectrum of work. So as a clinician, what do you think sitting in your clinic, how can you offset the carbon footprint at your level in the clinic, in the OT? We're not talking of the labs now. We're only talking of the reception area, our clinics, our offices, and our, OT till then.
So first of all, as a clinician, I would like to minimize the visits, because many a times we keep on calling patients. So one patient comes to our clinic so many times, and this contributes to the emission. So reducing the visits for investigations and for treatment and for ultrasound scanning will help in getting the CO2 emission less. So one would be doing this. Then at the same time, we would like to coordinate all the blood investigations in the same setting, and ultrasound also one stop ultrasound. Like in one scan, we would like to know the major findings, and then we will also minimize the in OT. We will minimize the disposables, because now like caps and mask, the clothes one I have already ordered in my operation theaters. We will not be using this disposable mask, because per patient disposable reduction is my game. I always keep on teaching my sisters and my students that you have to minimize per patient consumable. Like one patient, one disposable syringe should be used, and if needed, only needles should be changed, so that this is one area. Unnecessary Foley's catheterization is to be avoided. So per patient, minimum waste should be created. So this is the ultimate target, and this we keep on doing. So cap reduction at the level of cap, mask, gloves, we are use whatever, because for any silly thing, one person uses the gloves and then throws it off. Then again for something, again wearing one set of gloves. So that is my target, that should be reduced. So this way
of course, we can reduce this thing, the CO2 level, CO2 production. And third is energy saving. This is this. So I always ask them to switch off the ACs and fan whenever it is not in use. In my chamber also, it's not that if I'm not using AC is running. No, AC is will be switched off, and this is the protocol in my hospital, in my department. If somebody is not there, it's not that room has to be cooled before the person comes. It hardly takes 1 minute or 2 minutes to get the room temperature comfortable, and we have got all our system normal. So that 1 minute can be tolerated, because for that 1 minute we waste 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. AC keeps on, and then temperature of the AC, it's not that we have to keep it at 25 or 24, 23. Even 26 is also good enough, and that is better. So this is how why I do.
In fact, ma'am, I read somewhere that ACs are big time contributors to GHG emissions. Big
Yes.
time contributors.
So this is what I teach it everywhere, like in all my sisters or my staffs, everybody knows the unnecessary fan and AC will not run. And disposables reduction and minimizing the number of visits, transportation. So
Shilpa, ma'am, what would you like to
I would like to add few more points. I think Kalpana ma'am has already covered so much in detail, all the things that actually has to be taken care in day-to-day practice. So I'm going to add certain more points. Now, first is what we see is a lot of blood tests are being repeated every time the patient visits another clinician. So as a routine, I do not repeat hormones and AMH and everything every time a new patient comes to me. If they have a report, we do not repeat the report. So that is the first thing. That use minimal investigations that are required. Second thing that we can do is that we should be open to newer protocols. When I mean with newer protocols is that like we have to be patient-centric approach. When we went from agonist protocol to antagonist protocol, the newer, lesser number of injections were used. And we could use a PPOS protocol in a PCOS patient when we are, wanting to freeze also, that there are less number of injections used. We can use rather than Lonopin, rather than giving a single shot, we can use pen and cartridges. That also reduces the load of the, the injectables and the injections that we are using. So that is one thing that we have to be acceptable to change. Another is that, as ma'am said, that lesser number of visits to the clinic, that every time we should not be asking patient that you have to come and take the injections at the clinic. If the patient is comfortable, they can take it at home. Then reducing the paper load, as Dr. Soumya and they said, water conservation is very important. As Dr. Kostab said, try and fix your leaking taps and everything. That is one thing. The another thing is that if we can, rather than using products which are in single packaging, if we have good number of patients, we can use the bulk packaging that comes, that rather than having a single pack unit, you can use your consumables that come in the bulk packaging. Apart from that, try and use local. For me, it is not easy. I'm in a tier 2 city. There is no local manufacturing of most of the things, and we have to get it from metros. But yes, people who are living in metros can, very well do, use local manufactured things. But we have to get it from Delhi, so that is not possible for someone who is in Dehradun. So a local manufacturing thing reduces the transportation cost and the emission of the greenhouse gases. I think that's most of what I would like to say. Plus, I was reading when I was going through the articles, there was something written about the ESG, that try and ask your manufacturers whether they are using
compliant.
Yes, the ESG guidelines. So that is one thing that I would now be aware of. Thanks to you and Pankaj sir and Shweta ma'am for including me into the panel, because yes, a lot of things were new to me when I was reading about this. And yes, ESG is something that we should be talking to our manufacturers, whether they are also following the ESG guidelines.
So thank you so much for your input there, Dr. Kalpana and Dr. Shilpa ma'am. As a quick gist, I would just like you to know that while in the clinic, what do you look at? You look at the energy consumption. So wherever possible, the right kind of lights, LED lights, switch off equipment when not in use, reduce or rate AC or heating. Then you try and use your STAR certified equipment. Then maintain your equipment for optimal efficiency, and wherever possible, solar if possible for you. Make use of green energy. Then water conservation is important. Possible, install rainwater harvesting. Reuse your AC and RO filter discharge. Then install sensors, like you have your OTs. So let it be a sensor operated, hand washing system. And if there is a leaky tap faucet, please correct that. Then reuse the wastewater. There can be other uses for the wastewater. You can, the vehicles can be washed, gardens can be, irrigated. Then consumption of paper. Do more of telemedicine wherever possible, less patient visits, a lot of digital prescriptions, digital reports. Even if you're writing on paper, try and use the same paper as much as you can squeeze into that. That's all what our teams have given us. So we are just kind of reinforcing what we've already been talking of. Use greener alternatives like bamboo can be used, recycled paper can be used. And do not use, do not keep plastic water bottles in your clinics. Do not keep cutlery, which is like, this plastic. Use something which is either crockery, which you can reuse, or maybe something which is like, I saw this on Amazon, compostable paper plates. So stuff like that. So we have those options. And, Dr. Dr. Loveleen Sodhi's team has actually, produced this particular paper, which I'm talking of right now. And Loveleen ma'am has done a wonderful job. Loveleen ma'am, are you here? Loveleen ma'am, are you here?
Yeah, she was there.
She was there at the start
she's
of the
there.
program. Loveleen ma'am. So she basically, I'm reading out from what she has actually.
I'm here. Actually, I was muted. I'm listening.
Yeah. So,
Hi.
ma'am, you have done a wonderful job of, putting these points down, and obviously with Shweta ma'am also being there and guiding it all. So plastic, of course, do not use plastic files, folders. I still remember the initial, when we had started out, Shweta ma'am had pointed out one big plastic bag, which is filled with, so many consent papers. And so stuff like that is, we gradually come to this journey of putting it all down like this and talking about it. Then, of course, ma'am has spoken of, use more of, your OT dresses, your masks, your caps, gloves, not the gloves, of course, the caps, they let them be the fabric ones, so that we are not, using, we're reusing them. And wherever possible, do telemedicine. Lovely ma'am, would you like to add something to this?
Yeah, basically, I think it is सोच बदलने की बात है. So सोच बदलते हो तो सब कुछ. Then little things around you start automatically you start noticing these things are not in place. This is not how it should be done. So a very important thing is to get sensitized and sensitize your staff. So just putting up a poster that we are a green IVF clinic, it may be a tall claim, but then, people start thinking, they start asking कि ये क्या मतलब है, ये क्यों कर रहे, what is it about? Even patients start noticing, and then they accept. Otherwise, it is very fashionable to use a lot of disposables. Like somebody was saying, in one of the biggest hospitals, everything disposable. So that is a mark of, being very exotic, that you are using everything disposable. So when you do those little things, you attract attention to the issue, and then things start unfolding themselves. So it's like a huge teamwork. We have to sensitize people, we have to involve people. At our own levels, we cannot do enough, but we take, more and more people we take with us, the better it is.
United we strong. I mean, united we'll be stronger.
Yes, yes, yes.
So thank you so much, ma'am. So let's proceed on to the next question for the day.
Meenu, can I, sorry, interrupt?
Sure, ma'am. Please.
No, nothing related to this. I just meant to say that since all team members are here, will it be possible at the end to just give them a brief about what are we doing with the 5 IVF centers?
Sure, ma'am.
So that everyone will get an idea.
Sure, ma'am. We'll do that as well.
How to go, what exactly we have done.
I would request you and Dr. Loveleen to do that.
No. If you have those charts which we ask them to fill, you can just display that on the screen so that everyone gets an idea of all what the 5 IVF centers are doing. And they can bring it into practice. They may not be the selected IVF center, but then they can bring about all these changes as well.
So some of
That's a
the
great idea, actually.
So shall I proceed?
Yeah.
So the next question is for Dr. Gunjan Bhatnagar, and she in fact has contributed very strongly to this news bulletin that was made by their team. So this question is very aptly for her. So what are some of the practical points that we can incorporate in a new IVF clinic setup to be more conscious towards sustainability goals, especially where it is with respect to the design, the construction, and the material used? Dr. Gunjan Bhatnagar, she happens to be an IVF consultant and director at her center in Gonda, Jeevan Deep Chikitsalaya. So, welcome.
Thank you so
Dr.
much.
Gunjan.
Thank you for including me, ma'am. And it's a
This was
pleasure
all
to be
yours.
listening to all of you. Yeah, thank you, ma'am. And it was really a pleasure to listen to you, Mr. Kostov, sir. Very nice insights you have given. And I think my question is, I am lucky to get this question actually, because when we are starting something new, it is always easier to start from the beginning rather than bringing changes to a pre-existing center. So, and this, by this initiative we can let people know about green IVF and let them know that something like this actually exists, and so that people who are new, who are coming into the business, they have an idea and they are already aware of it, and it will be easier for them. Yeah. So when we are looking at a new IVF center, we can choose everything, right from the location to the building materials we are using, then the energy, then the sources of energy we are going to use. So the location should be, it should not be disturbing the local flora and fauna. It should be such that the location is good enough, not into the city traffic, and could be some into the outskirts of the cities where better exposure we can give to our embryos and oocytes and sperms. Then secondly, if we talk about the energy sources, very good idea about putting in the solar units rather than the conventional ones. We can use either the off-grid or the on-grid solar system that can be used. And as you talked about the installation, the LED lights can be used and motion sensors can be used. Like when the person is in the clinic and there's some motion is there, they detect and then they switch on the lights and ACs instead of
Biosensing lights.
manual. Yeah, instead of being the manual thing. So that is something we can do. Looking at the construction material, we should be using low VOC paint that we are already using, but specifically some construction material like lead, like cadmium, asbestos, all these have to be avoided. And like sir said, we can use more of bamboo. Bamboo is indigenous and it can be used for building designs for
It
the
grows
wood.
very fast. It grows very fast also.
Yeah. Then stainless steel is now coming up. We have better steel designs, and we have now better windows and facades, the beautiful big windows, the French windows with double and triple glazing. So we have a more heated atmosphere. We are not depending upon the internal heating system of the unit. These are few things we can do. And then we have these vertical gardens. We already have it in many places. So
Call
we
them
can put in vertical
biofilling
gardens in the waiting
concept for the
areas.
building.
Yes.
Yes.
So that can be done. And for taking help, we can take this LEED certification, which I'm proud to say that many buildings in India are now LEED certified. So there are platinum, gold, and silver certificates that these green buildings are being given, and that is an additional factor for the IVF clinic, and the patients can also trust you more with that.
So very, she has actually, kind of told you what has been mentioned in our booklet already. So make sure that you align your building such that you are using green energy, using, natural source of light, you producing less VOC. There is more of, what do you say?
Natural
As much as
heating
is
and
possible,
natural.
closer to the resources of nature are being used. So wonderful input from you, Dr. Gunjan. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Let's
Thank
go
you.
to our next question for the day. I would like Dr. Rahul Sen now to address this particular question. Now, what measures can be taken inside our IVF labs such that, it is more eco-sensitive to be working in our IVF labs. And Dr. Rahul Sen, are you there, sir?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, so
Am I
Dr.
audible?
Rahul Sen is a consultant embryologist with Neelkant IVF in Rajasthan. So welcome onto the webinar, sir. Waiting for your input here to the question.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this wonderful invitation of this initiative. And yes, what we have been talking and discussing all throughout this evening about sustainability. And I would like to here highlight that we have already been doing, and we are into this zone of sustainability. As an example, I can say in our three of the IVF lab which we have done set up in Jodhpur, Kota, and Ajmer, we have installed standalone AHU systems as a part of sustainability, we can say, because it has reduced our energy consumption directly from 7 to 8 kV of air conditioning unit to 1.5 ton of air conditioning unit. So as very well said by Mr. Kostav, that energy, gas, and plastic are the key determinants that can be a core source of sustainable portion in an IVF setup. So I think in the form of energy, in the form of air conservation, yes, there are already setups which can use standalone AHU system like Coda Tower. We can place a Coda Tower inside an embryology lab. So it will give you again a good source of air filtration instead of having those ducted air handling units, HVAC system, which takes a lot of energy. And we can save energy. We can save energy in form of electricity also. So there are already devices there. Yes, using of gases like means procuring gas from predetermined valid professionals who can supply you good quality gases. Even plastics, as we have been discussing, that yes, there has been replacement by reusable plastic wares. Many plastic manufacturer, IVF grade companies now are looking into this zone of plastic wares where plastics can be reused, like Thermo Fisher is into this zone of sustainability. So yes, now I think we are in this zone where not only the manufacturing companies, but also as a part of our IVF consumables now are being taken care as an of sustainable in terms of use and in terms of in our routine day-to-day practices. Also, we are in this zone where we have been talking a lot of about Digital India mission. Like we have been digitized by use of certain softwares, certain EMR sheets. We have been reducing so much of paper consumption. Even with this Zoom meeting, we are at our homes and we have been discussing a lot about this sustainability with under this ages of Indian Fertility Society. We are not in this physical meeting, but yet we are available and we are discussing amongst each other. So yes, Zoom meeting has been another a good source of discussing among IVF specialists, embryologists. So yes, this again is a good source of going into this sustainable era for development. Yes, there are I think other options also, like what we are practicing, like again we should be switching to glasswares, like in cases like pasture pipettes, in cases of denudation pipettes. If it's a glassware, it is a good source of energy. We are reducing the usage of plastics. So in cases, in conditions where glass can be replaced with plastics, it can be a good source to reduce plastic contaminants. So yes, there have been measures, there have been conditions, and even in terms of energy conservation, yes, there are HVAC systems, there are air conditioning systems, which can be which works as in function with reduced capacity, reduced air conditionings. So it can be a good choice if you look into the specification and dynamics of those systems. So yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rahul. So I think what we understand, although as clinicians, our understanding is a little less, but definitely we work so closely with you all. And over the years, we do understand quite a bit about the lab working as well. So let me just do a quick summary here. So definitely the single-use plastics that we use, if we can minimize them without compromising our outcomes, at least in terms of this like rampant wastage, maybe instead of multiple dishes, 1 or 2 dishes can be used. And so therein, I think the training comes from the seniors that you tell them how to optimize that. Then of course, the infra of the labs. We have, as you mentioned, you had installed some special HVACs which have reduced your energy consumption. So
Standalone,
making sure
standalone HUs. Yeah.
standalone. Okay, standalone. So and I guess obviously that is a very good takeaway. And any other equipment I think that is there in the lab, they should be working to the best of their efficiency. They should be properly checked, and the old versions, they better be phased out. And the cryogenics obviously has a contribution
Yeah,
to the LN2 wastage that happens, the evaporation. Then that of course we will come to that later. One of the panelists is going to talk about that as well. So that, and of course, then you have your
Dr. Purvi
Dr.
has
Meenu,
raised her
I
hand.
was just, yeah. Hi. Good evening, seniors, and good evening, Counselor sir. I have few queries myself as we are discussing this topic. So there are few things which I want to discuss. Counselor sir, you can give an input on this. What do you think about usage of paper and electricity? All the discussion is about the energy source, right? So we are talking about digital India, digital everything. So we are using more of electronic gadgets, electronic consumption instead of paper. What is your take on that? Whether paper is better or energy consumption, which is contributing more to the environment, and what do you think about it?
definitely you have to cut down on paper. Mr. Costa will also.
Yeah, which is like energy, or because we are talking about more of energy here, like electricity or minimizing that.
It's a good question. Yeah, it's a good question. But see, both are contributing to the different way. Like, number one, we are talking of carbon emission. And when we talk of carbon emission, we mean that more the power we generate, more the power we use, the more the power we consume, means the thermal power plants need to produce more energy. And in India, unfortunately, most of the power plants are coal-based plants,
Coal-driven.
coal-based plants,
Exactly.
and that too at many places the sulfur content is high, as a result of which it generates a lot of pollutants, the greenhouse gases. For example, I'll give you one small example.
Yes, sir.
Many of us, when we purchase a EV car or EV two-wheeler, we are very satisfied that we are contributing significantly towards environment conservation. But actually we are not, because we are charging our vehicle
Exactly.
at our residence. Means we are transferring the tailpipe pollution to the thermal power plant. And thermal power plants are one of the major contributor to the
Yes.
greenhouse gases
GHG emissions.
and global warming
Yes.
and climate change.
Yes.
Now the other part is about the paper. So the more we use paper means more we are cutting down the trees, unless and until we use recycled papers. So one
Yeah,
is,
that can be a better option as well. Recyclable
no,
papers.
one is emitting the carbon, and the other option is absorbing the carbon. Like we
Which
have
is
more
better.
trees, we have more forest cover, so whatever sin we create, that वो गंगा नहाने वाली बात हो जाती है कि भाई हमने प्रदूषण तो कर दिया और कुंभ में नहा लिए, तो
Which
हम
is the
पेड़ भी
lesser
लगा
evil?
दिए.
Both are evil. Which is the lesser evil?
That's what my question. Which is
Okay.
less, which is better way? If I have to choose one option,
No,
which is more
everything is
environment
going to
friendly.
contribute. But which
Yes.
is
I
the lesser
will
evil?
fine. If both are evil, and if you are, if you ask me to choose, fine. I feel that digital. That's one. What we are talking of emission is the more and more evil. Though paper also contributes to solid waste, but it's biodegradable.
So power
सेन
is
साहब
more
सेन साहब अगर
harmful.
प्रश्न ये है कि फाइनल में किससे खेलना चाहोगे, ऑस्ट्रेलिया कि साउथ अफ्रीका?
Yeah, वही question है.
दोनों कठिन है, बट चलो यार ऑस्ट्रेलिया से तो नहीं खेलेंगे यार, साउथ अफ्रीका. So it's something like that. Both are equally bad, but lesser evil, of course. I will go with paper. Yeah, lesser evil.
Please, sir, one.
I
And
think
Rahul,
the basic
sir,
crux,
one more
I believe, basic crux is that we minimize at our own levels.
Yeah.
And of course, the government does provisions to give us alternative greener sources. And because ultimately, are we drawing our electricity from? That is something you and I can't really do much about. Though we can,
Yeah.
again, at our individual levels, install solar panels at home.
Because lot of schools are coming with recyclable paper notebooks and all now. So paper, that is something.
These are little things that you have to again sort out as per your own centers, but little steps that you can do. And I think it's not about more and less. All of us have to do at little tweaks everyday life, and our government has to do at the bigger level. And of course, we as organizations also have to think of the greener version of our buildings, greener version of our operations. So it's a collective effort, individual, organization at the level of the country.
Ma'am, the problem, I'll just try to add one thing only. That's the problem in our country is our thought process is good, but our implementation is not that good. We went to EV, but we don't have that much of charging stations. Now, every Tom, Dick and Harry, they are manufacturing two-wheelers, and the roads are gone with the two-wheelers. And moreover, I'll tell you one more thing, one more example. It's the problem in my city. I don't know about your city. They have introduced some smaller version of auto in EV, that dagga jo chalta hai, dag.
Yes, we have them.
And see, the problem is all these guys, they are charging it at their residence and they are consuming more thermal power plant electricity. Number one. Number two, you will find that they are everywhere. So they move at a speed of 20 kilometers per hour. And behind them, there is a fleet of Creta, Mercedes, Grand Vitara moving at 20 kilometers per hour. So the energy which he is not saving, the other cars moving at a second gear, they are emitting more pollutants. So here also implementation problem. They should be restricted to the by-lanes, not on the main roads. So all these things can be done if we want to do it.
Operational governance issues and
yeah.
So awareness about these things, I mean, this is which we see every day practically. I go behind, I just don't let that e-rickshaw overtake me, because once it overtakes, then I am there stuck at 20 kilometers per hour. And
that's it.
The same thought goes to my mind, that what are they trying to save by introducing e-rickshaw then?
So, ma'am, if we can, I'll cut short here. Only half an hour left to go. We'll already touch 9. So, Dr. Lavi, can you please start asking questions? Thank you so much, Dr. Rahul, Mr. Costa, Bindu, ma'am. So, Dr. Lavi, please go ahead with your questions for Dr. Charulata and Dr. Priyanka.
Thank you, Dr. Yeah, so now I would like to introduce my next panelist, Dr. Charulata Chatterjee. Ma'am is the scientific director at Mayday IVF Clinics in Hyderabad. Ma'am is the scientific director. And Dr. Priyanka Patil, she is the fertility consultant at
clinical
IVF
embryologist.
Center in Shri Hospital, Pune.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, clinical embryologist at the Shri Hospital and IVF Center. So the question to both of you is, are the cryogenics also contribute to increased emissions? So how they contribute and what can be done to minimize it? So one by one, you can take the questions. First, how it is generating the emissions and how we can reduce it.
Yeah, thanks for involving me for this wonderful topic. And of course, cryogenics also contribute from the IVF lab site, because when we are manufacturing this liquid nitrogen from the air, there are lots of energy required. Either this energy is coming from coal, gas, or the oil. So number one, that is one where the carbon emission will be there when we are manufacturing the liquid nitrogen. The second is when we are transporting that liquid nitrogen from the manufacturing unit to our clinic. So there is a transportation involved there. So that transportation involves carbon emission, number one. Number three, when we are using in our lab, there will be lots of evaporation from the cryo tanks. So that evaporation also can lead to the carbon emission. So these are the few things from cryogenic side. And how to manage and how to minimize. We have to use liquid nitrogen day to day for our gamete freezing or for our embryo freezing. There is no other way on that, but we can minimize. We can use and we can select the cryocan which is has a high insulation so that evaporation rate can be maintained. Again, when we are maintaining these cryocans, numbers of patient samples are there. So that if we can convert into the digital kind of how we are managing the stock and all that inventory, that should be digital, and that unnecessary samples should be discarded so that we should not have numbers of many tanks which we have samples are no more needed. So that we have to be in the touch with the patients, and under the ART Act we can take the consent and we can discard that samples with proper guidance and following the SOPs. And there should be auto filling instead of manual filling. The auto filling might also minimize the little carbon emissions. So these are my take from the cryo lab. Plus, wherever cryo lab we are keeping, that lab also should be ventilated and kind of having the cool temperature so that evaporation rate is less.
So yes, rightly explained by Dr. Charulata ma'am. So definitely we cannot avoid using the liquid nitrogen. It's the necessity to cryopreserve the embryos or the oocytes or the gametes. But yes, we can minimize by properly using this liquid nitrogen filling, avoiding the evaporations. And we can maybe opt for, in apt situation, for the fresh transfer cycles where it is indicated. We can avoid the unnecessary storage of the gametes. We can just contact the patient and discard if it is not required. So these are some of the things we should be focusing at the lab level itself.
Is Dr. Priyanka Patil there? She should also tell us something, a few more suggestions.
Dr. Priyanka, are you there?
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you for giving this opportunity to me. And from my side is the more the spillage, the more the spillage, then the more the evaporation of the liquid nitrogen, then the more demand leads to causes the more supply the liquid nitrogen. Then the bigger utilization of the bigger cryo boxes during the cryopreservation, and more energy required. So the emission of the carbon footprints is more. So these are the causes of the emission of the greenhouse gases. This is Professor.
Bindu ma'am, could you please sum it up for us? Bindu ma'am, you being part of the...
I think Dr. Charulata has really said very well. You mean with respect to this cryo or
Yes,
the entire
with respect to cryo and embryo, whatever, this
Yeah, so Dr. Charulata has really spoken very well, and Dr. Priyanka has also just added, we cannot do away with using liquid nitrogen, but it is all about how we are transporting, how we prevent or minimize evaporation, how the cryo cans, the storage tanks need to be placed nearer to our laboratories where we will be using it. Of course, we cannot keep the cryo cans in the laboratory, but they can be just outside the laboratory so that there is no evaporation of liquid nitrogen just by moving it from one room to the another. And of course, you have to be careful that this works on the principle, the cryo storage works on the principle of negative air pressure. So you have to have ventilation. On the other, when we talk of embryology lab, we are talking about a positive air pressure, whereas liquid nitrogen storage, it has to be a negative air pressure, so that there has to be good ventilation, so that it not only prevents evaporation, but also prevents the
Oxygen
buildup of,
deficit should not happen.
yes,
That's
yes,
right.
mishaps should not happen. So it is all about and how to carry the liquid nitrogen. You cannot carry the whole cryo can, but smaller boxes with lid covered, so that there is minimal evaporation. So the distance from the cryo storage place to your lab should be minimal, and it should be evaporation should be minimal. That's it.
I would like to add another point here from the aspects of cryo lab. Like, sometimes we transfer vendors in the dry ice, like all our PGT samples and all that. So that also, kind of also gives that carbon emission. So that dry ice also one of the source coming from the cryo lab, and that whenever we are sending the samples, we should see that how the container is, so that there should be a minimum, kind of loss. It should be insulated, because from here, from tier 2 city, it will go to the metros for our PGT things.
In the process, the analysis.
So dry ice
can
and
I jump
liquid
in?
nitrogen. Yeah, Rahul.
And one more thing that can be added. Sorry.
Yes, ma'am. Please, after you.
Yeah, Rahul. Okay, can I just, okay. So just
Yes.
one more thing is that okay, we cannot club all our pickups probably. We may therefore not be able to do all our freezing together, but our FET cycles, if we can just club together, that again will lead to lesser liquid nitrogen usage and evaporation. So that is one way. You just club your FET cycles together so that you minimize the use of liquid nitrogen. Yes, Rahul.
Just want to mention one thing here, as very well explained by Charu madam and Bindu ma'am. If as a practice, or if conditions allow, we can use or we can promote the use of jumbo canisters, means containers which are of 50 liters, more than 50 liters, because we all know that during COVID times, embryologists used to visit only embryology lab to refill those small capacity containers. So if in a case it is a practice, we can promote or we can substitute it as using jumbo containers, so that they have good capacity of sustaining liquid nitrogen and
refilling is
less refilling durations. So as a practice, we can promote this.
And there are
Yes,
few
ma'am.
other tips to reduce the liquid nitrogen evaporation whenever we are keeping these jumbo cans or cryo cans, instead of keeping directly on the floor. If you keep a thick rubber sheet on the floor and keep the cryo can, the evaporation rate is less. And plus you have to measure that what is the evaporation rate, so that filling can be, auto. Every lab may not be having equipped with the auto filling and good system. Majority of us is having a cryo can. We manually fill the liquid nitrogen. So if we know the evaporation rate, we can check, and what is our opening per day. We can alternative day, we can refill.
That was a wonderful input from all of you from the lab and cryogenics perspective, but I'll have to please make it move forward, because there are other Dr. Rajvi,
Thank you so
ma'am,
much, Dr.
very senior senior of ours is here. She has to enlighten us on a certain aspect about, the bio waste management. So Rajvi ma'am, are you there, ma'am?
Yeah, very much
Hi,
here.
good evening, ma'am.
Good
How are you?
evening. Good
So,
evening. Yeah.
Dr. Rajvi ma'am is clinical embryologist and academic consultant at Cooper Surgicals, and she's got a lot of experience in the field of work and a very accomplished senior. So, ma'am, question to you is that IVF generates a lot of bio waste. Proper waste management is essential for safe handling of public health and the environment. So, please do share some relevant aspects. And since you are part of the team, which is basically talking about this in our Green IVF ART program, please tell us something, ma'am.
Yeah, so the first and foremost is, if you look at the kinds of waste we generate in the IVF lab, and I'm primarily talking about not the clinic, but lab, but yes. So one is we have the biological waste, we have serum, we have follicular fluids, we have seminal plasma. And in most cases, they are not infectious because we are not doing an infected procedure. But being biological material, we will consider them infections. So I think proper segregation becomes the first thing. Second thing is we also have a lot of disposables, the amount of disposables we use. And there are some disposables which do not really come in contact with biological material, like culture media bottles, when you're preparing dishes, the pipettes, etc. So I think that's another type of waste that we're generating. And the third is I'm only talking about biological waste because a lot has been spoken already about paper and other stuff. And the third is the kind of packaging, etc., in which we get our materials. Now that can be reduced with the kind of packaging and can be very easily recycled. But as far as the first thing, I think after the segregation is done, it takes the right course. Well, we always talk about the 3 R's: recycle, reuse, and reduce. But here I have a different opinion, because if we start reducing, our primary goal is to give pregnancies to the patient, and we start reducing, I mean, yes, there shouldn't be an overuse or excessive wastage, but just for the sake of reduced and use 2 less dishes, I think we need to be cautious on that front. As far as recycling, well, I don't know when glass or something comes back, but as of now, we're still using plastic, and I don't think we are, it's fair enough to start reducing. But I think one thing we can really use is, if we segregate well, we can go for refurbishing, using all these plastic waste that we generate, which is not infectious, rather than going in the landfill, if they can be used for roads and, much things. So that's my opinion on this, as far as the handling of bio waste is concerned in the lab. And yes, we should also see where our sources are, where we are getting our material. If those companies are following good guidelines, maybe we encourage that. So indirectly, although directly we don't contribute to that, but I think we start encouraging our suppliers to give us stuff which is made in an eco-friendly manner. They are reducing their emissions and contributions or negative contributions to the environment. So I think that's something which we can not forcefully, but very subtly encourage the manufacturers to go in the direction of eco-friendly. So that's what I feel.
What ma'am is trying to tell us is that we ensure that our manufacturers, our vendors are probably looking into the sustainability reports, and they're giving us packaging material which is recyclable, and minimal use of media consumables in the lab, and obviously circular economy wherever possible. If not possible, we cannot compromise on that, but if possible, yes.
Yeah. So
anything else from you, ma'am? Dr. Bindu, ma'am, Rajvi, ma'am, anything else that you'd like to say here?
I think as far as the lab and clinic,
thank you
and
so
lots
much,
has been
ma'am, for
said
your
about use of cap masks, so I don't want to repeat it. You're running short of time.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your input here. So moving on forward, Dr. Geetika. Dr. Geetika, are you here? Dr. Geetika, are you here?
Hi, Dr. Meenu.
Hi, good evening. So Dr.
Hey, good
Geetika,
evening.
she's a senior consultant with Cloud9 Hospital, Punjabi Bagh, Delhi. So Dr. Geetika, would you please like the audiences and all of us to know what is scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions, and how does the procurement process in the IVF sector, how is it contributing to these scope 3 emissions?
So thank you, Dr. Meenu, for giving me this opportunity. So first of all, I'll brief about the scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions. Basically, scope 1 emissions are the direct emissions from sources that are directly, owned or controlled by the organization.
Yes.
Like, for example, at hospitals, the direct fuel combustion and the company-owned vehicles, like, for example, ambulances in hospitals. And then scope 2 emissions are the indirect emissions from the consumption of purchased electricity, heat, or steam. That is from another source, but this, yes, we are contributing to the GHG emissions. So, for example, the electricity consumption, we are buying electricity, but yes, we are contributing to GHG indirectly. Other examples like heat, AC consumptions, or steam consumption. Now, scope 3 emissions are indirect emissions resulting from the activities of an organization, but not included in scope 2. So in this, for example, travels, business travels, or procurement of goods, it also results in
Big time. The
yes,
procurement chain
increasing
big
the
time
carbon,
contributes
yes,
to this.
carbon footprints. Also, the waste disposal also falls under this category. So the next question was that how what can we do to what can we do at the procurement process to decrease the carbon footprint? So the ultimate, we all know the ultimate answer and the ultimate goal is make in India, because till we are importing these goods, we are contributing to the GHG emissions on a huge extent. So, but I think that is going to take time. But till then, yes, we can we can follow some measures to decrease the carbon footprint. So, for example, we can, clearly label the packaging with recyclability instructions. Recyclable, not recyclable. Very simple. We can extend the product shelf life and prevent expiry related waste. We should avoid excessive packaging. We should opt for bulk packaging. And every organization should maintain the inventory. Then, if possible, we should use sea transport over air for products who do not need a cold chain, for example, surgical instruments. And then small, things like replacing styrofoam with sustainable alternatives like wool packs. And yes, as previously it was discussed that we should check that vendors, they are following the ESG norms or not. These small steps, still we are, reaching to our goal, that is Make in India. Till then,
Again, having said
we
that,
can, yes, follow these small steps.
True.
And we can just try to
This is
minimize
something
the,
that
yes.
as clinicians, thank you so much for your input, but as clinicians, I think we have to get after our hospitals. We are talking about it today, yes, but what will we do about it? Maybe we could, go back to our procurement chains, our business heads, and probably try and, get them to see this. Since she and I actually are the same hospital, but we are not really doing much about it, and I think we should. So not just talking about it, but we can act on it too.
The implementation is more important.
Yes,
actually.
yes. So at
That's
least
very
we
true.
should try and, if they do not execute, it's another thing, but let us make an attempt. So, and Dr. Shweta ma'am, are you here? Or has ma'am been here long enough? And so I guess I'll quickly move on to the next question. Thank you, Dr. Geetika, again for your input there. So I just want to make a quick synopsis here. So we should try and choose local vendors and not opt for the ones who are distant for whatever, wherever it is feasible. Maintain an efficient inventory. First in, first out. FIFO is the acronym we use there. Ask your vendors to provide products in environment-friendly packages, as already said. Check their ESG reports if possible, and promote Make in India. So this is what Dr. Geetika told us about. Now, Dr. Lavi, or let me just quickly go on to calling Dr. Purnima Durga. But Dr. Lavi can also please join me here. Dr. Lavi, are you there? So Dr. Purnima, this question is for you, the last question of the day, I think.
Yes.
So as clinicians, but wanted to be a very important and clinically relevant one. So for you, as clinicians, we add innumerable add-ons and evidence doesn't support the same. So, in fact, all of this opposes the ideology of sustainability. So please share your perspective. How can you and what can you do to reduce the cost in IVF, not compromising on the outcome, but yes, being conscious of our sustainable efforts and trying to give a good outcome.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Meenu, and sorry for the name. Thank you. So basically, I think all of the topics we have discussed, but I think low cost in IVF is something which we are already practicing now. So one is already we have talked about the visits, multiple visits. We can cut down the number of visits so that the cost will come down for the overall IVF cycle for the patient. One, then is again minimal stimulation protocols, which we are already promoting it, and also one thing which I feel is the multi-dose vials probably. Instead of giving a single-use pens or something, if we can use the multi-dose vials, that is something which we can use to reduce the cost and also for the sustainability. And obviously, we have got that PPOS protocols, and now oral antagonist is on trial where we are not yet approved for IVF, but still we have to need more papers on that. Obviously, the injections will come down, disposables, plastics and all will also become coming down. That is one thing. And one more thing, which once I am going, I was a part of the team. One I have tried personally is the steel catheter, the reusable steel catheter instead of a single-use disposable catheter. I'm also comparing.
Transfers?
Yes, for transfers, which we can reuse it. I'm also comparing my results, so probably I can give you an idea after a few more number of cycles have come up.
Let us know. Yes.
Yeah, that is one thing which can definitely can, if it is not affecting our results, which is happening in my case, but I have to do some more number of cases to come with a conclusive evidence and promote it. That is something which I have adopted in my practice, probably to reduce the use of this thing. So, and one more thing is fresh transfers wherever you can do, where endometrium is good, where the E2 levels, so you can do more of fresh transfers where you can minimize.
Wherever it is clinically relevant, yes.
Clinically relevant, that is something, and obviously drugs, luteal phase support, minimal luteal phase support. So all of these things which you can add in your practice to reduce the cost of an IVF cycle. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you again. And I just would like to wrap up with a little bit here, telling you as to what, you should be doing. All of us as a team, we have to work on, building this movement. And we have to bring about awareness by educating about green norms, bring behavioral changes in the ART community. Please create a green team, identify good and bad existing practices, incorporate or discard them as the case may be. Plan for regular lab meetings to discuss progress in education of the staff. Recognize and award an individual in the team who plays a critical role in building up the green culture in the organization. Encourage regulations if feasible, either top-down or bottom-up. And we must be aware of greenwashing. Now, what is greenwashing? It's a marketing tactic wherein companies trying to make their products or services appear more green and environment friendly than they actually are. It may seem effective, but it actually undermines the legitimate green initiatives and is bad for the environment. So this should not be done. Now, before I really say my final thank you, all my seniors here who are still persisting with the webinar, please be here and share your inputs. And all of us, I thank all of you panelists, real heartfelt thank you for being a part of this extensive and real marathon kind of a webinar, but I wanted you all to be part of it. Since we have to be the green warriors, we have to spread the word. You must try and do something, I think all of us in our little own ways. So Rajvi ma'am, Dr. Rahul, Dr. Charulata ma'am, whosoever is here, Mr. Kostav, are you here? Bindu ma'am, are you here?
Yeah, Mr. Kostav is there, very much there.
Please,
Yeah, I'm
I would
there,
like
I'm
you
here,
all
I'm
to wrap
here.
up now,
Very
and
much
thank you for all your time and energy and effort. You please give the closing remarks. All the seniors, if you have something to say, and thank you for the energy.
Maybe we should ask our guest, he being an environmentalist, he has shared his inputs, but after listening to all this panel discussion, would he like to say a few words?
Yes.
Mr. Kostav.
Yeah, sure. At the outset, I would like to congratulate the person who has made this presentation. Believe me, I was discussing with my colleague Surbhi Jaiswal. She is also MTech Environment Engineering and she is in my NGO. We work together also. I was very much surprised. I never thought to have such a detailed presentation on covering all the aspects in a doctor's meet, basically. So congratulations.
Three cheers for Meenu. Three cheers for Dr. Meenu.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the
Absolutely
collective
fabulous.
effort of the entire team. I just put it forward. I would just say that.
But Meenu, that is the reason why I would like you to just show the chart where we have taken that initiative
Yes,
about.
and I'll just
fine.
for that on my.
Yeah. And just I'll finish in 2 lines that overall what we discussed is all things are achievable. That what I discussed in my presentation, we have elaborated it in a better way. And I also learned many things because, in fact, when I was asked to speak here, I started with what's IVF here, to be very frank, because I am an environment activist, and basically by profession, I make wastewater treatment plants. I build wastewater treatment plants, so I have no idea. So wonderful. It's a wonderful experience for me also. And the basic thing is that when in a country such learned person and they speak about environment, they speak about sustainability, then definitely मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि दशा अच्छी है, बस दिशा की जरूरत है. And with all together, we will definitely will be able to do something good. And देश अच्छा कर रहा है पिछले 10 सालों में, आगे भी करेगा. तो उम्मीद है. थैंक यू सो मच. आगे कभी भी जुड़ने का मौका मिले तो जरूर मुझे याद करिएगा, हम जरूर मिलेंगे.
थैंक यू सो मच. मैम मुझे वो मिल नहीं पा रही है वो प्रेजेंटेशन.
अरे रुको, फिर मेरे इसमें होगी तो I'll just minimize and try to share.
मैम अगर आपको मिल रही है
हाँ हाँ, I'll just try to share.
डॉक्टर योगेश दिख रहे हैं मुझे. डॉक्टर योगेश, आप कुछ बोलेंगे प्लीज? आज आपसे मुलाकात नहीं हो पाई, मैं देख नहीं पाई थी आपको पहले. डॉक्टर योगेश, डॉक्टर योगेश.
While Dr. Bindu is searching for the slides on what to go green,
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Kaustav, I would just like to highlight that today the incidence and prevalence of infertility is so high. It's really enormous. The quality of gametes is deteriorating. Male factor in infertility, which used to be at 20%, is now 50%. And the major cause, I mean, yes, lifestyle, etc., comes in, but is what I call the 4 Ps: the pollution, the pesticides, the plastics. And therefore, I think it's time the environmentalists and we work together. Of course, we are treating patients, but at the same time, we really need to go to the root cause of what is happening, because we don't really know. And I think it's time that multidisciplinary approach is enhanced, because education of the patients, I mean, nanoplastics are all over. And we do know that they behave like phytoestrogens.
Seminal fluid, in follicular fluid, I mean, that
is everywhere.
Everywhere, ma'am.
And we do know that they act like phytoestrogens.
Meenu, can you stop sharing, please?
Sure, ma'am. I'll stop sharing.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Dr. Rajvi. Please continue.
Yeah, you found your slides. Yeah.
Yeah, I got.
So just initiating a trigger with Dr. Kaustav, if we can, work on something together.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, can see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Loveleen ma'am, you could also contribute.
Yeah, Dr. Loveleen, you can say.
Loveleen ma'am, me and Dr. Bindu, we have contributed to creating this, and we would like your inputs if you have to give to us, in fact.
Yes, Dr. Bindu, once she starts, I'll see whatever else I can think of.
Can you see this on the screen? Yeah, Dr. Loveleen, you can continue.
Okay, actually I'm on my mobile phone, so I think you'll be able to do it better from the laptop. So please continue.
Okay, so see, we have identified 5 centers who volunteered to be a part of this pilot project of Green IVF initiative. And these 5 centers we have tried to evaluate on the basis of the practices that they do and how we have assessed them at the end of 1 month. And for now, since it is a pilot project and we want to come up with something by Fertivision, that will be in December. So it's a 3-month project for now, which of course will be continued later also. But the green criteria on which we have evaluated, if you all can see it on the screen, whether they are compliant, non-compliant or partially compliant. So solar energy panels, then sustainable construction, like what kind of cooling strategies, the paints, etc. Then whether they have large windows so that they can do away with the lights and can tap the natural light. So energy conserving designs, then interior finishing, VOC free paint, then whether they have rainwater harvesting system in place or not, and whether they can implement it because to water the plants and so on and so forth. Or also if they can use this as flush in the flush system, that also. Then wastewater recycling, whether the used water is being used to wash cars, irrigation, again in the flush system, in the toilets. Then controlled water usage, whether with low flow toilet systems, pedal operated scrub taps, etc. whether they have it in their clinic or not. Then the HVAC system, energy efficiency assessment, whether they have ever done the energy efficiency assessment or not, and what difference do they see if they have installed solar panels, then what is the difference that they note before and after. Then star rating of ACs, if they do not have a 5-star rating refrigerators, then maybe if they are getting new ones, what was the difference in the energy consumption before and after. So star rating of ACs, refrigerators, etc., to assess efficiency and electricity consumption. Then smart energy smart energy solutions like LED lights, sensor smart switches, all this, paper-free clinic, digital prescriptions, digital records, digital lab reports also to the patients. Then do they use any recycled paper, alternatives like bamboo paper? Not just paper, even the tissue paper that they use in the laboratory, it can be a recycled paper. Then whether they can quantify the paper consumption per month, and just by consciously reducing the use of paper, to see whether there is any difference before and after. So don't unnecessarily just print on one side of the paper, or just tear away and throw it away. If they can use double sides or minimize wherever not necessary, and quantify it also. Then plastic bottles, cups, cutlery, plastic files, folders, bags, whether they were using it before or not. If they were using, how are they going to bring about changes in its usage? Then teleconsultation, promoting more and more of teleconsultation, where of course it is not possible to completely shift to teleconsultation, but whether they can gradually shift from no teleconsultation to 30 to 60 and so on. Then stimulation injections, whether they are packaging or administering within the hospital, so to minimize the scope 3 emissions and the hospital visits of the patients. Then reusable cloth scrub, caps, masks, shoe covers, patient drapes, etc. So it's not necessary that you flaunt that you are maintaining a very sterile environment by using everything disposable. No, it could be the other way around. You could be smart in not using disposable things wherever it is possible. So that. Then SOPs in place to limit or quantify the use of consumables per patient per case, because then accordingly you can order your disposables as well as media according to how much is your requirement for maybe a batch or for per month accordingly, so that there is no unnecessary media usage. So documentation of average amount of culture media, usage of per patient per case. Then cleaning agents, whether they are used judiciously in the laboratory or not. Then practice of using eco-friendly cleaning agents in the entire setup and the lab. Then is there a practice in the lab to club the freezing of gametes or embryos for a particular time in a day to minimize the LN2 wastage? So this we know that may not be possible for people who do not do batch IVF, but then at least they can club the FET cycles. So are FETs being clubbed together to minimize LN2 wastage? Is the cryo storage space ideally located to minimize LN2 evaporation when extracted from the cryo cans? So is there a documentation and quantification of waste generated? Then is there a color-coded segregation being done or not? Is a central sorting of biomedical waste being done or not? Then is disposable of bio-waste compliant to the standardized process? So under various heads, we have given all these points, and these 5 centers were asked to fill in these forms. Then of course, with respect to the vendor also, do you use local vendors for your media and consumables? Are you consciously taking any steps for made in India IVF products? So not only do you promote Indian made products, but also in the process, completely minimize the transportation costs and emissions thereby. So efficient inventory management also. So first in, first out kind of a SOP do you have in place? Is there a documentation of order frequency of routinely using consumables, media, etc.? Then documentation of wastage of unused or over-ordered material. Then conscious effort to ask the vendors to provide products in environmental friendly packaging. then ESG credentials from vendors, then finally coming to the education and audit. So that do you have your KPIs and SOPs for self-audit for ensuring quality with regards to your lab work, bio-waste management, and so on? And are you taking steps to sensitize and educate not just your staff and colleagues, but also your patients? Because you have to educate the patients also towards the use of such sustainable practices in your IVF laboratory. Then for that purpose, have you formed a green IVF team to implement, monitor, and rectify green practices? Is there an awareness also about greenwashing? So not unnecessarily just throwing, such lavish words and concepts, but actually doing it in practice and trying to bring about minor changes. And with respect to the clinical aspect, of course, the use of adjuvants, minimizing the use of adjuvants which are really not clinically proven, then minimal luteal phase support, fresh embryo transfer strategy, then is single embryo transfer being carried out or not? So all these, in a nutshell, covering all aspects of IVF, be it low-cost IVF, made in India concept, education and audit, vendor involvement, bio-waste management, IVF and lab, and of course, the admin and clinical workflow, and construction and design. So in a nutshell, we have tried to include all the points which are readily implementable. So this is what we have done, and it has been really a good response from the 5 clinics. And Dr. Loveleen, maybe you can continue giving your inputs.
Yeah, so it is not actually an assessment of the clinics, or, giving them a ranking who is doing well, but what we are wanting to look at is how much is the improvement, because 3 months is not a long time. In 3 months, how much is the change? How much is the improvement that is coming from each center? And actually, it has been a learning process for all of us. Little things like one of the centers said they have numbered the switches 1, 2, and 3. So when minimum light is required because it is daylight outside and it's coming through the large windows, then just one. Then you may not switch on any lights. When it is little dimmer, then the first switch, which brings on 1 or 2 lights. Then when more light is required, then so the staff also knows that, okay, now only one button is to be pressed, and so you will have only a limited number of lights. So smart solutions coming up, we're all learning from each other. And basically the discussion regarding which is the worse evil, things like I was looking at recycling paper. It seems the energy and the effort that goes into recycling paper may actually be even more wasteful as far as the environment goes than creating or producing more paper. So use of bamboo alternatives is probably going to be, the in thing. And bamboo, you have bamboo toothbrushes, you have combs and everything. And we've already talked about different bamboo paper uses today. So it's an ongoing process, and I think we are doing quite well. And I was just looking at this while you were reading this list, Dr. Bindu. I was feeling very happy. I think we've covered very minute details, and bringing out that so much can be done.
Definitely, I think we, guided by our seniors, and especially being Dr. Talwar's, idea to get us onto working into this, and Dr. Shweta always being there, and all the seniors, be it you, Loveleen ma'am, Dr. Bindu, the super active contributors to the team, and of course all our team leads, Dr. Sarabpreet, be it Dr. Anshal, be it Dr. Shalini Chawla, be it Dr. Rajvi. There's so many of us who actually feel very strongly about the movement, and we are doing a little bit, and I think we have come a long way from where we did not really understand anything about it to what we have done it in the past 9 months. I think kudos to all of us, and I think let's make it a movement and bring about some changes. It's not going to happen today or tomorrow, maybe very, very long time, but at least we've got the ball rolling. So Just a big thank you to all of you, all my panelists.
And
for-
Meenu, congratulations to you and kudos to you
All
actually.
the
You
hard
have been
work.
pushing
She
this.
is
So
just
much
behind
hard work
everyone.
you put in.
No, ma'am.
So much hard work. I mean, none of us, I think, has worked as hard as you have.
Oh, ma'am, this is
So
because
kudos to you.
I've been given a responsibility. I want to do my best for that.
But then you are
That is
doing
what
it very
drives
well.
me.
Yes, yes. You're
Yes.
going beyond your limits to make it possible all the time. And I must say that the triggering point was Dr. Pankaj Talwar sir's lecture last year at Fertivision, but also that this kind of a pilot project that we have undertaken is perhaps the only one in the world, because we have papers,
Absolutely.
very few papers related to green IVF. There are a few things about what
Ma'am,
should
and
not
just
be
one
done.
little thing, we should always say green ART. Green IVF is
Green ART.
something that Farley, who has given us the inspiration to start this, so she says it is a registered this thing. So we should say green ART, not
Okay,
IVF.
green ART.
actually.
Okay.
Okay.
We better change.
Yes, we better change it.
Wherever we document as green ART.
Yes, so everyone talks about what should not be done, but we are actually taking, even if they are baby steps, we have made an initiative, and also to introduce this concept of Made in India initiative for our green ART thing is really something. Hope we can do better with time.
Dr. Meenu madam, good evening. Good evening,
Hi,
everyone.
good evening, Dr.
You called
Yogesh.
me up, but I could not. Just 1 minute. I want 1 minute. Only 1 minute. If you can enable me, because I cannot switch my video on. So
Karan is
what
there.
I'm
He
trying
has
to
to
say.
help
Yes,
with the
yes,
video.
yes. Yes, we are talking about from since beginning. Since beginning, I am telling just to bring some implementable change if we can. We are saying so many things. So whatever we are saying and we are going to implement, and the initiative we have taken, and we have shifting from routine to the newer version where we are thinking about greens. Something is green, we can contribute. So what I feel particularly, what we are saying here, sitting in room, and we all team of 65, 70 people, there should be a channelized way to send our talks to all IVF centers where at least all IFS members can read that document. Whether they are going to implement or not, that will be the matter of time. But it should be documented properly. And as Dr. Bindu madam says, that we should change, we should call you clinicians to club your FET cycles at least. But we do not know the medical conditions or the type of preparation you are putting your efforts to prepare the lining and the day you are choosing for performing FET cycle particularly. So what we are doing, we should have the particular record, all the details, and then whatever the detail we are recording, we should do some change by clubbing those cycles, and we should perform a study, and we should publish it in a good journal, so that we can say the changes we are trying to implement, or we tried, that the effect of that comparison could serve us in a positive or negative manner.
Right,
What we
we
are
could do
saying,
that. We could do that
it
going
seems,
forward.
yes, it seems good, but we need to come with strong documentation in terms of written these
Dr. Yogesh,
newsletter.
we have just taken
Yes,
our first few steps.
Yeah.
We have a long way
yes,
to go, and I think
yes.
if we sustain as
So
IFS is going
सबसे
to give us
पहले
that
तो
support.
as Dr.
at
Lavleen
least
said, सोच बदलना है.
madam, at least a pilot study we can come up with, so that effort can be shown.
Pilot, we can do much more going forward. Many things
Yes,
possible. Our seniors should
thank you, madam.
support all of us and be there with us. IFS,
Thank you,
if
thank
IFS
you,
goes
ma'am.
on,
Thank
ma'am,
you.
we can. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, Dr.
Long
Yogi,
day. Thank you
request
for your
everyone to
time.
come on screen, please, so that we can take a quick photograph.
Yes, all of us.
Everyone, please come on screen.
Whosoever
Who's
here,
taking a
Geeta Khanna
photograph?
ma'am is also here, ma'am. Please come on to the
Shweta ma'am is
Pooja.
there.
Pooja Awasthi is here. Hi, Pooja.
Hi, Pooja. How are you?
Geeta ma'am.
Dr. Yogesh,
Ananta
पहले तो
Lakshmi.
step लेना. That itself, as Dr. Lavleen said, सोच बदलना जरूरी है सबकी. And then trying to implement, and then trying to find out whether it is really making a difference or not, and then going into publishing. So that is the reason why probably we have made the white paper. And let's see how we can implement, how each team can implement the things that they have mentioned in the white paper. So let's see. It is long road, but we are there.
Long road, yes.
Long route, but we are there.
So
And
lots of people are still on to, I think they've just probably logged on and they, the Pooja is there, Dr. Geeta ma'am is there. I can see them logged in. So let's take a quick picture, ma'am, and call it a day then.
Yes.
If Karan is there, he can do the honors for us.
Yeah, I'm trying to take as many as I can. Yeah. चलो दशा दिशा दोनों देख के काम करेंगे अभी और क्या.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night, everyone, and thanks everyone for
ma'am. Good night.
Good night, ma'am. Bye.
And from all of us,
Thank
Meenu,
you.
once again.
Thank you
A
so
thumbs
much,
up to
ma'am.
you.
Thank you. Thank you
Need
so
all your
much.
blessings and support.
Lot of effort you put in, really.
Thank you, ma'am. आप लोग सारा साथ दे रहे हो इसलिए कर पाती हूँ मैं. और सर की blessings है.
We missed him today.
Yes. चलो.
Thank
Bye,
you.
ma'am.
Thank
Good
you
night,
so much.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Good night. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.